That's okay.
Thank you.
Just keep in mind when you talk that you need to talk loudly if you're talking from the audience.
Are we live?
Yeah, you should be done now.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. I have 4 o'clock. First thing on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Do I have any discussion on that? Or
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
okay, motion made. Second, everybody in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? All right, agenda approved. Third thing on the agenda is the, grab you. We just approved the agenda, Ralph, as far as we got.
Thank you.
We have the minutes for the November 18th. I was not present, so I'm going to abstain. Oh, okay, well,
There's plenty of people to approve it though if you like.
okay. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So move, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and second. Everybody in favor, aye?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Nay? Okay. Motion, minutes from November 18th been approved. Public comments, no one from the public's here. Approval of the financial statement, we received that. I want to take a few minutes to review it.
With the meeting being early again this year, or this month, it would be great if we could have that extra of, we approve up to $10,000 or $15,000 of extra expenses that may come in between now and the end of the month. So if there's any of that stuff that we can go ahead
We
and
did that
pay.
last time.
Yeah.
We did up to
But that was for
$12,000.
That was for November.
That was for November,
So
because
this is gonna be to fill the gap.
Thanksgiving.
right.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. So same thing again for Christmas, so we've got estimates in here for payroll, and some other big items we know are gonna happen, but there might be other invoices that come in. So if that's okay with everybody, that would be great to approve that.
Okay. Any discussion from the board?
Does that require a motion to do that?
Yes.
I'll make that motion. So Wes's comments concerning adding some money there for the rest of the year.
And we're talking about how much, 10,000 or 12,000?
10.
I say 10 should be sufficient. We've got payroll already in here, so that's the biggest one. It'd be
I'll
$10,000.
second Gary's motion.
Okay, motion made and second. Vote, everybody in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. That's been approved. How about the financial statement then? Huh? Did that cover approving the statement, or we need to approve it?
We need to approve it, I think.
Yeah,
You
that
need to
was-
approve the statement. I also have a question before we do.
Okay, go ahead.
I was asked about the loan payment for the Bobcat and why it's not in the operations budget. And I know that's because it's being financed, but can you step up here and explain that so that it's on record so people can hear it too?
So in accounting, there
That
are,
affects Gateway as well, please.
yes, so in accounting, there's 3 types of activities. There's operational, there's investing, and there's financing. So this operational budget includes the interest piece of the financing, but it doesn't include the principal portion. So the principal portion would be in the financing activities. That gets reported to Gateway, and it is an obligation of ours, but it's not in the operational piece. So you'll never see, and it's the same thing when we were talking about doing the building, if we were to buy the building and finance that, you'd never see the payment themselves, the principal portion, in the operational budget because it's a financing activity. Typically, we track those things below, kind of off the operations piece as an other item. So you'd see it on a cash flow statement, but you wouldn't see it on the operational budget. Does that make sense? Okay. And then on Gateway is truly a cash flows reconciliation. So if you pulled our Gateway reports, you'd see it on Gateway, but you wouldn't see it again on our monthly financials. So to see it on the monthly financials, we'd have to have a statement of cash flows versus the operational budget.
And there's 3, right? Investing,
Financing, and operations. Yep.
This is just
Operations. The only thing that would really apply for us is the debt portion of it. We don't have investments, so it would just be the financing piece.
Thank you.
Yep. Appreciate that. It was a question that came up, so I just wanted to address it, so that everybody knew.
Yeah, and I remember having this discussion when we financed it.
Right.
Yeah, it's all the way up and up, it's just that, when you look at Gateway versus this, there were some questions of why there was a difference. And when I was looking at it, I saw that it's the exact same amount as the principal of the loan payment. So that's why I had to make sure that each one told us that, so everybody else did too.
And we could present this on at a cash flow level if we wanted to do that. It would just be a little bit unusual, I would say, from a true accounting perspective. But we could present these on a cash flow level if we wanted to do that. Just let us know, we'd have to make the conversion.
I don't see a need in that right now.
Well, like, with just one item being financed, we know that it's there, so.
Right.
And if anybody has any questions, we can definitely answer.
Well, like we did, we can explain it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Sure. Okay.
Yeah, motion to approve the financial statements.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Motion made and second, and everybody in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion made and second, carried unanimously. Advisory board,
There was no advisory board.
no meeting, okay?
I've got Cindy, if I may, Cindy Taylor had sent me an email. She says, no, like Ken said, nothing new to the advisory board, but she wanted me just to bring this up. Is this a time to do that, or you want me to do it later, or?
We can, yeah, that's fine, go
Okay.
ahead.
Well, she's advisory board, so I just know. So she said she requested expectation list from the board last month, and would like to have this for her next advisory board meeting in January.
Okay.
I don't know what that entails, but just too many quick things. The fee structure committee needs to meet or turn that over to the advisory board, which probably wouldn't be a bad idea. I think that's more the advisory board's duties, wouldn't you say?
Well, anything business advisory from that committee, yes.
Yeah. She wrote, the motel owners are asking whether a refund will be given or not for Randy Kessens, and the board needs to give him an answer. This is separate from the fee structure. The board is taking care of this now. Is the only fair thing to do with the new incoming director. And she also said, on behalf of the advisory board, we would like to thank Ken for his years of service to the solid waste district and wish him the best of luck in his retirement.
Thank you.
Is that something we should discuss at this point?
On the refund,
Well,
I don't know that we can do that.
Well, she just said,
Totally opposed to that.
yeah, she wanted to give Randy a yes or no, and so that's just what she said.
Okay, well, let's discuss that then. Any discussion on that?
I think once we start getting refunds, where does that end? I'm totally opposed to that. This board voted for that to be the rule, and we've applied that rule. So again, that's my own feeling. I'm not in favor of refunding not only to him or anybody else if we're staying within the parameters of what we established as agreed.
Okay, any other discussions? I think that we should officially act on this since it's been requested. So, if there's no more discussion on this, I will accept a motion for any action or not taking action, one of the two.
Well, what I said, I'll put that in the form of a motion. I'm opposed to a refund simply because we established the rules and that's the rules at that time. So as a governmental unit, once you start saying, well, we're going to start giving a refund, I'm not sure where that would end at. So
Okay.
I'll make that as a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion made and second to take.
Seconded.
Ralph. So, everybody in favor of not taking action, not giving, right. Well, I mean, we're not giving a refund and not taking any action on the request.
Before we vote, have we asked our lawyer on the legalities of any of that?
I haven't. I mean, this is,
Yeah, that's what my question would be is, is there any legal standing in that?
right, but we would have to do that. I mean, we can do that after. If we voted to give a refund, then we would have to make sure it was legal. That was the order I'm thinking.
Well, I was saying, is what he's asking, is there any legal confines to it? I mean,
But if we vote not to, then it's a moot point.
He will still have the right to file a lawsuit,
Right.
if he chooses to do so, bottom line.
But if we, the motion on the floor is not to give a refund, and if that motion carries through, then at this point, we don't need to check and see if it's legal, because we're not even gonna take it anywhere. So, right now, we have a motion on the floor to not give a refund at this time, and it's been seconded.
Okay.
So I'm going to take, what's a vote? Everybody in favor of not giving a refund?
Aye.
Aye. I will abstain
Okay.
because of the conflict I have.
And I also vote aye. So,
And I'm abstaining as well.
okay.
Nay.
Nay? Okay. Do you think we should give a refund?
No, I think it's premature to vote on this until we actually ask one.
But we can always give one later.
That's still a nay, for that reason.
Okay. So the motion may carry not to issue a refund.
Two abstainers.
Yes. I do believe that we need to look at the restructure of it, and I still believe in that. I mean, but that's not what this was, just to give inadvertently give a refund.
Just an FYI, the structure is in place. The bill will be sent out next 2022, just as it was this year.
Right, because we hadn't taken action
It
to
hasn't been
change
taken
it.
any, and it's really too late to take action on that in 2022.
We have until about June or July of next year.
By then.
By then, have a decision made.
Right.
For the following year, for
Well,
2023.
Yeah.
My nay and Chris's abstention is the same, for the same reason though, it's just for lack of information. It's not give positivity
I mean-
or negativity, it's just lack of information, so.
Right, but that's not saying that we can't bring it up and give it if we find out that it is illegal.
Yeah.
Right, and I think at that time would be if a lawsuit is filed against this, that would be the time for the attorney to get involved. Tell us, tell the board if that was legal or illegal.
Okay.
Right.
Which, if we can go into the next thing, she asked about the fee structure committee. Do we just want to turn that over to the advisory board, or do we want to keep that fee structure?
I would make a motion that that committee be dissolved and turned over to the advisory.
Okay.
Second.
I mean, that's one way, I mean, I think that we need to look at it, whoever looks at it.
I think that's kind of why we have that advisory board.
If you're gonna make just because you're dissolved the committee and turn it to the advisory board, doesn't mean the committee still can't help the advisory board.
Exactly.
Exactly. I agree.
Because we do the budget, they can,
Sure.
but at least you turn it to the advisory board where they're gonna get on it and go.
Do we, right, I mean, with that said, do we need to,
The host one is more the hotel than one.
Yes,
with that, do we need to dissolve the committee? I
yes,
mean,
yes.
why?
Why you have it,
If you have the advisory board, you don't need a committee.
And you had the board here.
Okay.
You guys.
That's fine, that's just what I'm asking.
We were just on it, the reason that committee was formed was just to throw out ideals.
Okay.
And we came up with the ideal, I think now it's time to turn it over to them to see if they can improve it, or accept it, deny it, or whatever.
Okay,
That's
so,
my opinion.
okay, so your motion is to,
Dissolve the committee, turn the information over to the advisory board, where they can work hand in hand with this board to come up with any alternative, any changes they see fit
okay,
to restructure if necessary.
if we come up with a viable restructure,
Right.
I mean, that's gonna take a lot of work.
I think I'm gonna tell them about the proposed piece, just to.
Well, you know, when Chris and Tom was there, and Cindy and myself and Randy, thank you. And we had tried to break it down into the three categories. dwellings, which was residential, commercial, and industrial. And I used numbers from what I got from the auditor's office, how we broke it down, and it was like 7,470 dwellings. There were 505 commercial and 93 industrial. And we had talked about leaving the dwellings at $45, moving commercial up to $75, and industrial at $100. Well, the total income for that was $383,325. If we went back and just charged everybody the flat $45 times the number of all these three combined, we came up with $363,060. That's not including, we are missing out on some residents and other businesses in that who have not been charged. If those can be collected, that money's, the number of that amount's going to raise up, because this year in our next year's budget, we estimated the fees to bring in about $380,000. So
You proposing that we keep the fee structure the same, but actively pursue unbilled
I think we need to look into what we're missing out on, the dwellings and the buildings. And I think that's going to improve the income, where if the board decides and the advisory board wants to revert back to the original $45 for everyone.
Right, including $45 per unit on the hotels?
No,
One
one
rate.
charge.
One charge. Okay. But what would be wrong with going ahead and changing the structure, and this is just for discussion, to the dwellings, leave it at 45, commercial at 75, and commercial meaning the hotels, and one fee of 75, and pursuing the lost revenue, and then industrial 100. I mean, and go ahead and making this rate change to,
The advisory board's supposed to come be
Yeah,
doing.
I think we need to.
I think this needs to be
Premature
sent to
discussion,
them
really.
to see what their advice is. Also, has the billing been printed already for
It's
next
in the
year?
process.
So, I think we're out of
Can't
luck.
be, 2022
Oh,
is
we
not going to
already
be
knew
changed.
that. We already
Yeah.
knew that. This
Okay.
is for 2023 for sure.
okay, so turn this over to the advisory.
Advisory board to see what their recommendation, if
Yeah.
they have any changes or if they agree with this, and then bring it back to this board to vote on this.
Okay, that's your motion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just while we're discussing, I hope the advisory board consults a professional in working on the fee structure, not just throw mud at the wall and see how it sticks. If it would be challenged in court, what are you gonna say, base it off, the budget stuff on the wall? You're gonna have any
Right.
facts. We really need to hire a professional accounting firm. There's multiple ones out there that can look at our rates, look at our operating costs, and see what we need, and you'd be challenged, I think, in court.
Well,
So you're,
And any rates you do.
what do you want
But
first?
that's not part of the motion, that was just part of the discussion.
Okay, I mean, I guess, what do you think? Well, should we have the advisory board come up with a solution and then hire someone to look at it and see if that's viable?
I think they could write some things down, but give an input to a consulting company.
my honest opinion, and I'll interject, is that Kelly Connor's on that advisory board, and
Uh-huh.
she is a whiz with numbers. And I
Mhm.
think she's already looking into this pretty hard.
Yeah.
What you're saying, Chris, you want a cost of service study.
Yeah, I would like the
Yeah.
first draft to be done by Kelly, and then there'd be.
And then go to the cost of
Bakersfield or
service.
whatever.
And the updated information was turned over to Kelly. I got all the numbers of all the dwellings and things, so she could look at that and compare those numbers to what the numbers we had.
Okay, so the motion to turn it over to the advisory board?
Yes.
When they have all the information they need to look at it, and then, and Chris, to respect for you, then go to a firm after they have tweaked it.
Just to check it over.
Yeah.
Yeah, something, yeah, and that would be fair. it would help. I mean, it's not gonna cost some money, but at least gives us some ground to stand on.
Right.
You're
Okay.
definitely gonna have to have a definition of commercial.
You're gonna need-
Exactly, that was one of the big things.
That's another thing.
How
Advisory
did
board
you define that?
study.
And if we could even do this.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
all right, well, the motion is to turn it over to the advisory board since we got preliminary figures. Do I have a second?
Greg seconded.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Then, everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And everybody opposed, nay? All right.
Sorry to get into all that, I just.
Well,
No, it's good
at the
discussion.
end of the year, we need to tie some loose ends up.
It's good discussion.
And two, the cost of service study might come back, might have to increase the fees. Then we've had something to go on
Yes.
with that
exactly.
also. So.
All right,
One way or another, it help us.
yes, okay. So where did that fall in the,
That was under the advisory board.
okay, so now we're
Now we go to
director's
Ken
report.
For his last.
Okay,
Make it a good one.
yep. Well, I've already mentioned it once, the annual bills have preparation started on it. Hopefully, everything continues to go, if we get the transfers to the courthouse and everything. The first round of bills should be out mid-January. So, that's where we're at with that. Pretty much the commodities, cardboard, newspaper went down this month, and office paper stayed the same. Speculation is that cardboard and office paper will drop a little bit more. They're kind of, I think it's basically, they're kind of leveling off, they're type thing. But the speculation I've heard is not major drop, they're just, they gotta reach the level, so.
They usually do that this time of year.
But just like I say, they've been spiking because nobody's had it, and everybody wants it, because all the shipping and everything like that, and one, type deal, but everybody said it's gonna level off, and should remain steady for, hopefully, 2022.
So now's the time to sell cardboard, right?
Yes or no?
Gary's been holding on to it for years.
It's gone down $20 in the last 2 months.
Oh, Gary, you should have sold last month. Now you're losing.
Ran out of warehouse space, I had to get rid of it.
I'm just teasing you.
That's all I got.
Okay. Old business, update on the director's position. We received any more than the one application that I've heard from, or does anyone have that?
I've only received the one at the office I gave to Greg.
Mhm.
Kyle Kale.
How long has it been posted? Do we need to post it further or go ahead and take
Posted for
action?
It was put, basically a week, 2 weeks in the paper. It's been for basically the month of November.
Okay. So, in discussion on what action we should take, should we move on it or leave it posted?
I think you should post it again.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have more than one candidate,
Yes.
that's for sure.
I agree with that.
Okay, so you want to make a motion
Maybe I'll get
to
another one, but
Right.
post it again?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
it's posted. So now my next question is that, he's gone basically here in 15 days and what, 5 minutes, you said?
15 days and 5 minutes.
Yeah, he's got it down to the minute. With that position open, is there any issues or anything that needs to be taken care of?
It's not gonna give us much transition time. Would you be willing to stay on as kind of a consultant to help train in whoever it
Time to
is?
time, but not staying on, no.
Huh?
I've got things going on in January, so I'm not,
Oh.
I could help out here and there, but,
Just be available for a phone call, where's
Yeah.
the light switch at, kind of.
that I could do.
Okay.
Could the daily operations be ran by the ladies that are in the office until,
They could. They wouldn't want to, but they could.
Oh, no, we want to.
Should we make a acting or acting
You're an acting
Director.
director.
Interim director?
Or interim director.
I don't think I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. That's what I
So,
was
well, we
thinking.
still have a motion on the floor
Yeah.
to, we need to resolve that first. We have a motion on the floor to extend the posting of that another, how long, Charlie?
I think at least 3 weeks.
Okay.
And put us through the holidays and then the first
How
of the
many
year.
times you wanna run the ad?
Okay. So,
I
the motion
think
is to extend
Once a
it
week for the next 3 weeks.
3 weeks, okay?
I'll second
So 3 times.
Ralph seconded. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, now we'll discuss an interim director starting in 15 days and 3 minutes, right? Was it 5
Which one did
minutes?
you say?
I'm joking, that's not my vote for
I considered it.
I'm all right with just, I mean, you're in the office every day as it is.
Appointing
right?
Chris?
I work part-time, Marcia's there every
Yeah.
day. I have another part-time job.
Okay.
But I'm a little more flexible, I can do some more hours.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I don't either.
Would you be willing
With-
to do that?
Do what?
What's your
Interim director.
question?
If she's willing, I would just
Temporary.
Take over
make
as
her as
interim.
I know that you
Someone
can't be
is
there
not
all the
hired by
time.
January 1.
But my phone's on, yeah.
Okay, so you making a motion to appoint Chris?
Yep.
It's Chris with a K, because someone put me with a C.
You can see.
Who made the
The
motion?
K, Chris, not the C,
Way to go.
Chris.
Okay, Greg made the motion to appoint Chris as the interim director until we,
Will this start effective January 1,
yes,
since Ken will be there till?
I think
Yes.
it should.
Yes.
Until a director is found, is that right?
Yes, until director is appointed.
So how long would that go? Till then?
At least a month.
Depends on how long it takes to be hired director.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say minimum month.
So I'll second that.
Okay, motion made and second, everybody
Can-
agree?
Can we have one real quick? While she's doing that, should she receive, some more financial
Yes.
pay while she's doing that for next month? I mean, I don't know
Could
what you're
that
making
be
an hour, an extra dollar an hour or
negotiated?
something.
Between now.
Do we need to
and the
make
first
that
of
a
the year?
separate?
Correct.
I don't know if it needs to be
Yes.
separate, I just want to bring it up.
Yes.
I think we should make that a separate.
Separate
We
motion.
should make a little bit more for doing it.
Chris,
Right,
that's
but I'm
separate
saying that could be
motion.
You wanna
negotiated
make it a
between
separate-
now and
you make
the
it.
first.
Well, and I
With this
was being
board.
there, he does explain things when I ask, so I'll just ask more and he'll explain more.
Okay,
So,
so I think we ought to make that two different.
That's fine.
Right,
I was
that's
just wanted
fine.
a discussion, we vote, I didn't want us to forget it and not.
So,
Right.
It's fine.
so we had a motion on the floor and seconded, and we
Okay,
voted it.
everybody in favor to appoint Chris as interim
Aye.
director
Aye.
after,
Aye.
Aye.
any opposed?
I got a question with this new director coming in. Obviously, they're coming in with very little knowledge of what this organization does, right? Who's going to sit down with them and work through their job description and duties and so forth, so they will know what they need to do and so forth? Who's going to do
I
that?
think we'll have to have a hiring committee would be my thing, made up of this board.
Right.
Probationary period, is that what you're saying too?
I'm just saying, if this person comes in to me, they need to get some information, right? So, where we stand and what the operation, their duties as director. Maybe that's in the application or something, I don't know.
It should be in the
Job description.
Job description.
job
Right.
description.
And it's what you're doing in.
Well, I was gonna say,
For pay-wise, it's not.
if there's questions, they'll have to turn to the office staff to say, hey, what do we do in this situation?
absolutely, I, if I can speak
Go ahead.
freely.
Sure.
I think, Marcia and I have talked about it, we know with the timing of everything,
Sure.
that no one's going to walk in. I know that I know very little, that's why, one, I didn't apply.
Right.
Two, they're gonna have to know stuff, so they're gonna rely on Marcia, who's a wealth of knowledge, me, who's trying to learn, and Ken's questions. I mean, anyone that you bring in, and there's different ways that sites are run. So you might get someone that's run one in another county or district, and then they come and it's different. So there's gonna be that sway of learning, but if
I mean, that will
everyone.
make the job easier for that person, right? Give them some, feel like they're on solid ground and.
Well, we want to set them up to succeed, not fail.
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
Well, Gary, between now and the first of the year, Chris is working with him already. He can make sure that, that things that they may not know that he can advise her of, so she would be aware of that when she takes over the interim, and then her being an employee there, whoever's hired, she could pass that knowledge on.
It will. That's, when I started, Paul Alvey left the day I started. So basically, the two gals in the office were where I got my education.
It's on the
So-
job training.
And the site.
And that, I think that goes back to Chris's question to you, if there is a time that needs to give you a phone call and go.
Phone call needed me, yeah.
We
Questions come
appreciate
up,
it.
and I know they're going to, because there's gonna be things in June and July, they're gonna pop up that nobody thought about today.
Right.
So
Right, yeah, and appreciate
Yeah.
that you remain available by
I'm not,
phone call if as needed.
unless I'm in, in the Bahamas or something like that, I'll be, chances of
With
that
that-
pretty slim too.
Interim through the probationary period.
Mhm. So it was brought up about compensation for the interim.
I think that needs to be a couple members of this board negotiating with her between now and the first of the year. The only problem is you don't have any other meetings.
Well, we
We should
just-
call a special meeting right after the first of the year
That or-
to approve.
I was gonna suggest it's $1 more an hour, so the new one's higher. Huh?
I think it would be worth a lot more than
Well,
that.
I don't know, I'm just throwing something out.
Because she's being paid part-time right now.
Yeah, we can always make it retroactive.
Okay.
And make it active through the probationary period of the new director.
While they're being trained in.
While they're being trained.
That, or you can just, at the end, we can decide on a bonus, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That could be done. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you, Chris, is that all right with you?
Yeah,
Are you willing?
my goal is to have the office running and Marcia's goal running and keeping it going and staying more positive about it with, some negative energy coming at us, just keeping it going. It needs to be done. The county needs the recycling. Our county needs it.
Sounds good to me.
Appreciate that.
Okay. All right. Next thing on the agenda is the bond approval for Marcia and Wes.
Guys need to have a motion. Their bonds are come up for renewal this month. Just need to, I'll have you sign the approval statement afterwards. So.
Ken, I don't remember, maybe it's somewhere, what was the cost for their bonds?
Depends on who it is. They're about $100 to $150 per, it's a $30,000 bond.
Okay.
That according to state law, anybody that handles the money has
Sure.
to be bonded.
Sure. I was just curious what our cost was for the bonds.
Might as well go ahead and do one for Chris, because hers is in the making, it just hasn't been completely through yet.
Yeah, I think we should too, just to cover ourselves.
Because I know hers,
Well, if she's gonna-
hers will be due by the end of the month probably too, so.
Okay.
So,
all three of them, Chris, Marcia, and Wes.
yes.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second
That we
that.
approve.
Motion made and seconded to approve the bond. Everybody in favor, aye?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion made.
Before we go to the next item, I apologize. I missed one from the advisory committee, and I got texted about it, and it's a pretty important one. The advisory committee, we tasked them with doing the job study, and one of the things that they realized is that we didn't do an ADA compliance piece to it. And so they asked ARI if they would be able to do that, and that for all the job descriptions, they can do it for $500, which is pretty dirt cheap for something like that. Is that something that we can approve tonight for that advisory committee to pay?
My question would be, the county council has hired a company to do new job descriptions for all the county.
Irwin, Wagner, and Shealy?
Yes. I didn't know if that could just be added to that or not.
Well, this isn't, that's separate from the we're separate from the county, correct, on purpose?
But they are actually an entity of the county because we okay the budget.
True.
Just a question, I don't know, I'm throwing it out.
I would think Irwin, Wagner, and Shealy would probably charge more than $500.
Okay, then I'm
Just,
fine.
I'm just guessing.
No,
Maybe
but-
we could call them and ask.
But I
them.
didn't know if they shot us a one price for the whole county.
Yeah, they did, and they may,
And I didn't know if we could add
if that was included in
this
it.
department. Well, it wasn't
I doubt
mentioned,
it.
but I had said something to Luke about if that was a possibility. He didn't think it would be much of a problem, but
I don't know the
again, I'm
cost.
just bringing it up to the board.
Maybe that's where we could just follow their lead on their outcome.
Doesn't matter.
You mean plagiarize theirs?
I guess so.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with plagiarizing.
Nothing wrong with it.
No.
We're not affiliated.
I'll be honest.
$500 is not a bad price.
No, it's not. I don't think it's a terrible price. Because how many job descriptions would we be doing? 4, 5? Because I mean, obviously, if you're just a normal laborers, you'd be the same.
Director, you've got 2 secretaries.
Office, site. Probably about
About
3 or 4.
So it's less than $100 a piece. That's not.
That's not bad.
That's very reasonable, to be honest.
I mean, honestly, I mean, and we could make the motion that we approve it to keep it going unless the firm from the county will do it in a,
With no charge.
With no charge.
What's charged, yeah.
doubt that.
I have messed up. Sorry. I wish they were here to actually ask these questions, but they're not.
must be live watching.
The ADA compliance is not for the job studies. The ADA compliance is for the sites. Sorry, it's
Oh,
actually
the sites.
looking at the sites and making sure they're ADA compliant. Do you do that in your work when you do the ADA compliance?
Well, that is, that.
You have an ADA coordinator.
That is
That's
something
her.
that has not been assessed
Yeah.
for ADA compliance,
Yeah.
these
Yes,
sites.
I'm
Is it on our county list though to do that? or-
It is identified,
Yes.
I mean, it's identified as not being assessed yet.
Okay,
Okay,
but it's on the list.
So it
Good.
could
It'd be
be.
good if
Okay,
it
so
were.
we should be covered that way, right?
Yes.
And I'd like to have that if it is.
Yeah.
So do we need to have it assessed by an outside firm, or
I
is
don't
that
think so.
something?
I think we would do that as commissioners, since it's already on our list to go and actually do. Why wouldn't we just pay $500 somewhere else?
It's not on the 3-year plan to, I don't
To
think.
do it?
To
Oh.
do that, but,
Can it be amended?
Okay.
Could it be added as an amendment?
Do you have a
Well,
problem?
we can't make, I don't know that we can make a decision that the commissioners would, but
I would just take
I think
motion
we
to
should
table
put
this
it
right
on the
now,
table.
but whatever.
yeah, let's do that.
I'm
Let's
sorry.
table it till we find out.
Okay,
We can get our ducks in a row so we know we're making the right motion.
I'm fine with that.
A lot of unknowns, it sounds like. I'm not against it at all.
No, but
I love the price,
I
I think
would-
they would do a good job, but I
Oh,
just.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind doing it this way, but I also don't mind if we could do it to the county too. It's already
I've
on
got
the county
voting
list.
locations, I've got the voting locations on the 3-year plan, but I do not have
Okay.
the
Yeah.
drop-off sites.
Well, give us all something to think about, because it wasn't on the agenda anyway.
Yeah, and I apologize. I just got texted it from the advisory board. So.
Okay. All right, go to the next meeting then? When is the next council meeting? Oh, well, the first January, the January council meeting. I know they have official,
The 13th or 20th?
20th.
Thursday of the month.
27.
27th?
Yep.
Is that when ours is gonna be? 'Cause it-
The third Thursday is the 20th.
Fourth
It's
Thursday.
the
Fourth
We're
Thursday.
doing
Fourth
it the
Thursday.
third.
Because of the holiday.
We want to make it the 27th? That okay with everyone?
Keep it fourth Thursday.
Okay. Next meeting will be January 27th, 4 PM here. All right.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Motion made and second to adjourn. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
We need to sign.
Yeah, financial statements are coming down.
Going that way.
Mayor, don't take off, we need your autograph.
I'll do